The heavy glass doors slid shut behind him, sealing in the roar of 1,000 footsteps. Kidow stood on the polished concrete floor, a small speck in a canyon of moving luggage and rushing travelers. The air smelled of jet fuel and floor wax. He was alone. His belly tightened, a sharp, hollow ache that demanded attention. Near a brushed metal trash bin, he spotted it, a discarded scrap of ham glistening under the harsh fluorescent lights. He lowered his head, muscles coiled, and took a tentative step toward the prize. Suddenly, a high-pitched hum vibrated through the floorboards. A circular cleaning robot surged from behind a pillar, its brushes spinning with aggressive speed. It did not see him. It did not care. It barreled straight toward his path. Kidow hissed, his back arching, but the machine kept coming, a relentless, unthinking wall of plastic and steel. He scrambled back, claws skittering on the slick surface, and leaped. He caught the edge of a structural pillar, dug his claws into the drywall, and hauled himself upward. From his perch, he watched the robot crush the scrap of ham into the floor tiles. He was still hungry, he was still lost, and now he was being hunted by the floor itself. He hung from the pillar for a heartbeat before his grip failed. He dropped, landing squarely on a metal luggage cart rolling toward the terminal exit. The cart lurched under his weight, then picked up speed on the downward ramp. Kidow dug his claws into the handle, his body leaning into the sharp turns as the cart rattled across the floor. Ahead, a massive stack of empty suitcases stood in the path. He braced himself. Impact. The cart slammed into the base, sending the cases tumbling like dominoes. The crash echoed through the hall, drawing every eye in the vicinity. A security guard shouted from 20 feet away, his heavy boots thundering against the tile as he sprinted to intercept. Kidow did not wait for the confrontation. He vaulted off the cart, his momentum carrying him toward a narrow gap in the security gate. He squeezed through the metal bars, his heart hammering against his ribs, and scrambled into the heart of the terminal. The guard reached the gate a second too late, his hands slapping against the steel frame. Kidow kept running, weaving between legs and rolling bags, his path now a frantic blur of movement as he pushed deeper into the sprawling complex. The terminal noise faded as he slipped into the quiet, scent-heavy aisles of a duty-free shop. Shelves lined with colorful boxes rose like cliffs around him. Kidow moved with a hunter's grace, belly low, until his eyes locked onto a fuzzy, grey shape perched on a mid-level display. It stared back with fixed, glassy eyes. He hissed, the sound sharp and low, but the creature did not flinch. Kidow took a step, then another, his tail twitching with irritation. He pounced. The impact sent the display swaying, then plummeting. The shelf hit the floor with a deafening crash, scattering plush toys across the tiles. A shout erupted from the back of the shop. A manager, clutching a long-handled broom, rounded the corner and charged. Kidow scrambled, his paws skidding on the polished floor as he darted between aisles. He saw a bag, half open, resting on a leather bench. He dove inside, pressing his body into the soft warmth of the contents. The fabric collapsed over him, cutting off the light. He felt the bag lift, then the sharp sound of a zipper sliding shut. Darkness swallowed him, and the movement of the bag signaled he was being carried away from the terminal. The zipper retracted, and a burst of sunlight forced Kidow to blink. He pushed his way out of the fabric heap and stepped onto a concrete balcony. Below, the water of the harbour shimmered. His attention snapped toward the railing. A seagull stood there, gripping a warm, savoury meat pie in its beak. Kidow dropped into a crouch, his pupils dilating as he calculated the distance. Muscles coiled. He launched himself with every ounce of strength. The bird shrieked and took flight, dropping the prize. Kidow landed hard on the balcony floor, but his paws found no purchase on the slick, polished surface. He skidded, his claws scraping uselessly against the concrete, and shot straight toward the gap in the railing. He went over the edge. For one heartbeat, he dangled by his front claws, the harbour wind whipping through his fur and the deep, dark water waiting hundreds of feet below. A boat horn blared, the vibration rattling his bones. With a frantic twist of his body, he hauled his weight upward. He hooked his back paws into the decorative metalwork, heaved himself over the threshold, and collapsed onto the balcony, his chest heaving as he stared at the prize now lying within reach. The danger vanished as quickly as it had arrived. Kidow pulled the meat pie toward him, his claws kneading the concrete as he began to eat. The savory steam rose into the evening air, grounding him in the reality of his victory. He finished the last crumb, licked his paws, and stood up to shake the stiffness from his legs. Across the harbour, the iconic sails of the opera house caught the dying light, turning a brilliant, glowing white. The city below hummed with a rhythm that felt different from the frantic pace of the airport. He walked to the edge of the balcony, his orange tail flicking in time with the distant waves. He sat down, wrapping his tail neatly around his feet, and turned his gaze toward the horizon. The sun dipped lower, painting the water in shades of violet and gold. He had arrived with nothing but a frayed tag, yet here he remained, perched high above the world. The harbour wind carried the scent of salt and freedom. He did not know where he was or how he had reached this ledge, but as the last sliver of sun disappeared, he let out a long, slow purr. He was safe, he was full, and he was home.